Hello, we're going to look at how to animate a verb in Scratch. So we're going to start off with the blank Scratch project. First thing is though, what is a verb? A verb is an action word. So that's what we're doing. We're showing our knowledge of what a verb is and different types of verbs. So here we go, and we're going to use Scratch the cat as our character to act out these verbs. You could use a different sprite, just make sure it has the same or similar skins, so it can make actions with moving. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use blocks today. So what a block does is it creates a mini program within your program. So when you run the block, it does the sequence that you've already set out within the program, which is really useful if you want to do it multiple times. Now, it's not necessary for this program, but it's a really good way to practice it. So we're going to look at the first block. We're going to click on My Blocks down the bottom, and we're going to click on Make a Block. Now, the first one we're going to do is reset. Now, resetting is very important. It's often overlooked because, honestly, you don't think about having to get back to the way you start. So reset is very important in a lot of our programs. So you should always understand how you need to get your characters, whatever, to go back to the start or to reset, if that is part of what you're doing. If you're doing an animation, play or anything like that, it should always have a reset. Because otherwise it's going to start moving the characters across the screen, but it's already there, so nothing's going to happen and you're going to think you're broken. So we do a reset to start off with. Now, our reset will have us going to the center, which is 0, 0. And we're going to make sure that it is on costume. Switch to costume 1. Now we've got 2 costumes, and if you use that, it can make it look like it's walking. The character's walking. Different sprites have different number of costumes. And then we're going to make sure it's pointing in the right direction. So pointing here. Now, a really good reason for why we're using a block here instead of just doing it is part of the main function. It's very easy for us to go back and change it later. So if I need to add new things because I'm changing the way the sprite can move, having a reset that I can change easily and have a defined way to look at it makes life a lot easier for me. So that's one reason why we're using the different blocks. Anyway, so we've got reset done. Well, we need to have the program started. So under events, of course, when the flag is clicked, we're going to start off with doing the reset. So what we do when we press the flag, it's done it already. It goes to the center, changes. So if I move the cat here, gets us going back in. Great. Fantastic. Just what we want. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a new block, and we're going to have it called walk. Because guess what? Walking is a verb. Yeah, you're doing English in this lesson as well. So under walk, what we're just going to do is, as I showed you before, the costumes. So we're just going to change the costume. And then we're going to wait. And then we're going to change the costume again. I can just duplicate this, right mouse click, 2 fingers, duplicate. So we're going to change costume, wait, change costume, wait. I'm going to make the wait point 3 seconds. So click on here, type in point, which is the full stop, 3. Now this will let us, the character, as you can see, yeah, looks like it's walking, but it's only 1 step. So we're going to do that 10 times. So I'm going to walk 10 times. Let's see what happens. Hey, it looks like it's walking. Hooray! That's our first verb. Our next verb we're going to look at is backflip. This one's a really interesting one to do, which is why I didn't do it first. Before we do that, reset. Okay, now we're going to make a new block called backflip. Now this one, it could work with most sprites, but make sure you, for this one to work best, as a backflip, you need to have a sprite that's facing the side of the screen, not facing out to the user. If you do have it facing out to the user, it would probably be more like a cartwheel, but still works, just different name for it. Anyway, I've got my block here, backflip. Let's make this a bit bigger for you. Should have done it earlier, sorry. And what we're going to do is we're going to do something a few times. So just to break it down a bit, a backflip has two major parts. When you're jumping up into the air, when you're falling back down. Now, when you're jumping back to the up in the air, you should be turning around. When you're falling down, you should be continuing the flip, so your feet are on the ground. And so we're going to have two repeat blocks, one to go up, one to go down, and that should complete the back flip for us. So we're going to go up with the first one by changing y by 10. Now remember, there's a x across, y up and down, x and y axis. Okay, and then we're going to repeat again, and we're not going to change y by 10. We're going to change it by minus 10. Plus 10 goes up, minus 10 goes down. Let's see if it works. Yeah, that's a good jump. But we wanted it to be a bit more interesting, so we've made it a backflip. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw in one of these turns. I'm going to turn this way, because that way it will do a backflip. If we do it the other way, it'll be a forward flip. Oops, wrong one. I should need to be... Let's reset. Another way to have a block, you can just click on it. Backflip. Nice. Reset. Oh, we need to continue the turn when you're going down. Let's try that again. Nearly there. Nearly there. So what I've done is, in the past, I've had a bit of experience, tested it out. If we use 12, that'll be enough to get complete a full circle. So reset. Let's do it. Full backflip. That's awesome. So let's make it do the backflip. Done. And then we're going to do another reset. And we're going to do another block. We're going to shrink. If I can spell it. Oh, yes, I did spell it right. Oops. Anyway, now this shrink one, we're going to look at some of these different ones, funny ones down the bottom here. Change size by 10 is the one we're going to use. So I'm going to put that in there and put in shrink. Now, just doing it once isn't going to be enough. I think I'm going to repeat that a few times. 10's good enough, I guess. So let's have a look. That's walking. Flip. Oh, I did grow instead of shrink. Change size by minus 10. Now here's something we're just going to find a problem. I'm going to press the flag and oh no, it's already still giant. If only we had a reset function, we could edit and add the new thing in. Set size to 100%. Oh, reset coming to our rescue once again. So let's see if this one works. So walking. Yep, flip and shrink. Perfect. So as this is about animating verbs, we probably should have the name of a verb there too. So we're going to put some text underneath. So we're going to make a new sprite and we're going to paint it. Now if we look at the costumes, one of the tools here is a T for text. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to say walking. You can play around with it to whatever one you want. It's best if you have it in the center, so that way it's very easy to know where it is when you're moving. And I'm going to put it underneath where the sprite is. I might make it a bit bigger. There we go. Walking. Good. So, get back to my code. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to broadcast. Under events, we've got a broadcast message. Now this is really useful to send things, a little bit of an instruction to another sprite. So I'm going to call this walking. And here in sprite 2, I'm going to start off when I receive walking. I am going to, well, did you know you can also name your costumes? Costume 1 will now be walking. We could do this with multiple sprites, hiding, showing and stuff like that, but we'll just do one sprite today and have different costumes. Okay, painting. I'm going to do another one. Backflip. So we're just going to actually copy, paste. If we double click on it, we can change to backflip. Wonderful. And we'll do our third costume. While we're here, we might as well. What could we copy? Duplicate. Duplicate. Right mouse click on it, duplicate. And the last one was shrink. Now we might need to re-center these ones. There we go. And I'll name the last one, not backflip 2, shrink. So when I see walking, I want to switch to costume walking. Wow. Do you guess what the next one is? When I receive new message, we're going to put the new message backflip. Might as well just get the other two ones in. When I receive shrink, and then we just switch the costumes. Hope that makes sense. It's just doing the same thing for each one. This one is backflip, last one is shrink. Now we just need to broadcast that message. We've got broadcast walking for his. So after the reset, I'm going to broadcast backflip. And just before, actually I should do that beforehand. So break that apart, put that before backflip. There we go, that's a bit better. And I'm going to broadcast shrink. Let's test it all out. Walking. Takes a long time. Backflip and shrink. There we go. And that is us animating 3 verbs. You can actually do a lot of more with this. You're set up with the reset to make life very easy for you. If you can just make new blocks for any extra verbs you want to do, you could do talking. There's a talking animation, talking bubble there, easy to do. You can do grow, opposite of shrink. You can do make invisible, fade. You can even, it's up to you what you do. You've got a lot of options here.